Ron?
Yes?
So, last week in StarCraft...
Warcraft?
Warcraft. Only a matter of time before they make a StarCraft movie.
Yeah.
You were worried about the note-taking.
Yeah, I was.
Did anything change this week?
Something did, yeah.
Okay.
I started taking notes during this one, and about 10 minutes into it, I just stopped.
Okay.
It was, it was too much to. It was just too much to keep track of, and you know what? It is really hard to see in the dark.
Yeah. What'd you go see?
I went to see Independence Day Resurgence.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I like Jeff Goldblum, man.
He is great. He is great in everything he does. He was good in this because he's Jeff Goldblum. He just plays himself in everything he's in, but man, the rest of it was kind of crappy. So what do we do? What do we do on Movies with Ron when the movie was shit?
Well, we'll just make fun of it as you go through it.
All right.
I don't want to piss off Jeff Goldblum, though.
Maybe we should stop and I should go see another movie.
Did you go with anybody?
No, I went by myself. And I went to like a 5 o'clock showing. So, because of that, there were not a whole lot of people in the theater. Only about 20 or so. And this, sadly, I ended up going to the IMAX 3D one.
Mm-hmm.
Which cost, probably about $17. I'm not happy about that. I actually thought about asking for my money back. I hear you can do that at theaters because...
You can go through the whole thing?
What?
You can go through the whole movie and then get your money back?
I heard you can do that. I heard that because, the money that they get for the ticket prices, the theater doesn't really get any of that. So that, so what they depend on is the food money. That's why popcorn costs like, fucking $10.
Yeah.
So I heard that they don't really care, and if you want your money back, they'll give it to you.
So you'd just be pissing off the studios?
Yeah, probably.
Who were already pissing off?
Yeah, I guess. Well, don't worry, guys. I didn't ask for my money back. Nothing really weird happened, on the way to the movie or in the theater or anything. The most interesting thing was actually after the movie, because I was up at the top in the back of the theater, and there's actually a door in the back that you can get in there. And I went out that door, which is obviously upstairs, and I went out into the hallway of projection rooms. And I've never seen that ever.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. You ever been up there?
No.
It's just a big long hallway with all these doors marked private. I tried a few. They were all locked.
It's because they all just have expensive computers in them.
Yeah. I don't think... Yeah, there's no people in them, right?
I guess not. So, IMDb already has it at a 6.0, which is bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was sort of fun. It was, I don't know, man. It was nostalgic, but...
Theater was crowded?
No, there was only like 20 people in it, and it was their big theater.
Oh, geez.
But it was a 5 o'clock showing, and when I was leaving that theater, I mean, droves of people were piling inside, so...
Okay.
It's probably going to do well, at least, for this weekend or whatever. But that's only because people haven't read reviews or anything like that yet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was even a couple of people that clapped at the end of the movie. Clapped. And, their claps just, they started and then they died, They didn't get a full theater clap going.
All right, start us up.
All right. So here we are. Movies with Ron. Independence Day Resurgence. I do not think that they should have named it that. I think they should have just called it Independence Day 2. What do you think about that? Resurgence is dumb. I mean, shit, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Out of the Shadows. They could have called this Independence Day Out of the Shadows. And it would have been better. Anyway, all right, so... Oh, shit. Sorry, guys.
Turn that shit off.
I did. Oh, man. I am not on it today. Did you hear that? Yeah, let me think for a second. Okay, so Independence Day 2 starts off with like a shot of the cosmos and you're traveling through space, and there's all this computer-generated galaxy crap, and you keep hearing voiceovers, like intermittently of Bill Pullman giving his big presidential address in the first one, where he's like, "We will not go quietly into the night."
Yeah,
and
that was a good part.
Yeah, it was. That was a great part.
Yeah.
Wasn't so great. Yeah, he did it again in this movie,
Oh yeah.
and it didn't get all.
Is he still president?
No, he is an ex-president, and he is actually he's the slightly crazy guy. He's taken the place of Randy Quaid from the first one, the one who nobody wants to listen to because he's crazy.
Who I somehow hoped would show up in this one.
Yeah, me too.
As like an imposter.
Yeah.
At some point, Randy Quaid comes out of the ship and he's like, guys, it's okay.
Yeah.
And then, like, right when everything's not okay, his head opens up and there's an alien inside.
All right, so we're going through the cosmos and listening to that, and we're closing. Yeah, we're passing by other planets, and you hear them saying, "Well, today we declare our Independence Day," and then it closes in on well, it doesn't close in, but it passes another planet that has like a big giant hole drilled into it, and the whole planet's dead. And you pass by, so you see, like, oh, that's another planet that those aliens conquered or whatever, and then as it's going through space, we close in on another planet, on like a big black sphere, right? And it's the alien planet. So then we're inside of, like, we're inside of one of their ships, and it looks like the inside of the last ship, where it's all dark and kind of stone looking and technological, and there's a little holographic display going on, and on the holographic display is Bill Pullman's face giving that address, and there's an alien watching it, and the alien's looking at it, and then it goes like rah, and then Bill Pullman wakes up in his bed with his big bushy beard, and he's waking up from this nightmare. He's like, "Oh God!" And he looks over at his table, and there's a whole bunch of pieces of paper, like he's been drawing, like he's been getting visions and drawing them.
Yeah.
And all they are, they're like not complicated at all. All they are is a big circle with a line going like halfway through it. It kind of looks like the top of the old ships. If you saw them from the top. Remember how, they were a big flying saucer, but they had like a, weird line.
Yeah.
Just looks like that. So I'm like, oh, he's having nightmares about the ships. And so then it cuts to, I guess his daughter from the first movie. She's played by somebody else, but his daughter now works in the White House, and she's just like a secretary or something like that, and or like a presidential aide. The new president, by the way, is now I guess President Bill Pullman's old lady advisor from the first movie. So now she's Madam President.
Oh, okay.
And in the White House, you see a big portrait painting of Will Smith, in his flight suit, because he's a big old hero. And his son is now walking into the White House. He's a big famous fighter pilot now. And you okay there? Sound guy sneezing. So his son's going in there to talk to the president. The president's like, "Oh yeah, it's so great what you're doing, we're all so very proud of you. Your dad was such a hero. I'm so sorry that he died in that tragic training accident," or something like that. So, Will Smith's not going to show up.
Yeah.
Like I was hoping he would. I was hoping he'd show up in an uncredited, cameo or something like that. So the two best guys from the first one are the only ones not there. Will Smith and Randy Quaid. Okay, so he's talking to the president, and then Bill Pullman's daughter comes up to him, and they're friends. They know each other, and she's like, "Hey, how's it going?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, fucking whatever, President White House shit." And she's like, "Okay, well, when you get up there to the moon, be nice to Jake." And he's like, "Yeah, whatever." So then it cuts to the moon, and
Who's going to the moon?
Will Smith's son.
Okay.
Because the moon is full of humans now.
Mm.
Since the first movie, we've stolen all the alien technology, and all planes they all now have those weird green glowing engines, and they're all like when they fly by, just like all those fighters in the first one.
Yeah.
And man, I did not like this movie.
All right. One quick thought.
All right.
Because they took the technology and made it all our own, and our civilization is so far ahead, you can't sympathize with the humans at all.
Correct.
Right.
Not at all.
It's like they're aliens in and of themselves.
Exactly. You know, like there was no way to identify with anybody in the movie.
Yeah.
Because it was all just like future people. So anyway, we go to the moon, where they are setting up one of the giant guns that they have invented for interplanetary defense. You know, if another alien ship comes up, we're just going to blast them with these cannons that we have in orbit, and now we got one on the moon too. And there's these two guys, and they're driving these, they call them space tugs, and they're just truckers now, you know, flying spaceships, moving stuff. And the one of them, his name's Jake, and he is that Hemsworth guy, and he is kind of a douchebag in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Supposed to be the white hero guy.
He's like blue collar.
Yeah, but he's like edgy, you know, and he's a loose cannon.
Uh-huh.
So they're moving this big gun, and you know, people in the control room are like, "Yep, move the gun. Yeah, it's coming in. Gun's coming in," and they screw it up, and it starts to fall. So it's falling, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, it's gonna fall!" It's gonna fall like right onto the command center. All right, everybody's gonna die. Mm-hmm. So they're all like, "Oh no," you know, and they're like bracing for impact. Like, this is it, we're gonna die. And then the guy, the loose cannon, Jake, is like, "Well, you know what? No," and he pulls his ship around and he gets underneath it as it's falling. Okay, now also we are on the moon. Okay,
mm-hmm.
Like, so gravity on the moon. You know, it's not as much. So at first I was like, well, why is it falling? But then I remembered, you know, on the moon, then those guys, you know, they jump, they do come down, but they come down real slow. So it's falling, but it's falling like real slow.
Yeah.
And they're all like, "Oh God, it's coming." And the guy's like, "All right." And he takes his one little space tug and he pilots it underneath it, and he grabs on. All the tugs have big arms on them. And so he grabs it with the arms, and he just starts like pushing forward, and it's not working. And then his little co-pilot, the little nerd guy, is like, "Oh man, we're gonna die. You can't do that. We're gonna get killed." And he's like, "Turn on the fusion thrusters." And he's like, "No, we'll burn up." And he's like, "Well, then everybody's gonna die." And so they just turn it on, and the engines are like glowing green, like super green now. And then it works, and he gets the thing back up into place, and he's like, "Yes." And then they're in the hangar, and everybody's like, "Yeah, man, good job." And his boss, his commander or whatever, is coming up to him, and he's like yelling at him. And, you know, so he's in trouble. So he's like, "Oh, great, here we go." And he's like, "You almost killed everybody. You almost got yourself killed." And he's like, "Yeah, but then I saved everyone." And he's like, "You don't get credit for fixing your own screw up." And he's like, "That's it. You are grounded." He's walking away. "Until further notice." He's walking away, and Jake goes, "Well, can I still watch TV?" And like he has no respect for authority. You know, he's a very cookie cutter character.
Uh-huh. Can I still watch TV? Like it's some kind of privilege?
Oh wow, you didn't get it. Okay, like he was grounded, like a kid gets grounded. Yeah. Well, that's weird. Okay, well I got it. All right. So.
Shut up. It's the writers.
Yeah, totally. I love it. Okay. So. All right, so the black guy, man, I do not know his name.
His character?
Yeah. What's his character's name?
Is it Dylan?
Dylan, that's it.
Dylan Hiller.
Dylan. Wayne Smith's son. Dylan is coming to the space station, because here's the thing. July 4th is coming up, so they're going to do a big Independence Day celebration. 20 years. It's been 20 years since we saved the Earth. So the president's going to give a big address, in front of millions of people. And now, in the middle of the city streets, there's like fucking giant mile-long televisions floating in the air and stuff like that. It's like another planet. Mm-hmm. Okay. She's going to give this big address. And when she's doing that, these new fighter pilots from this special squadron they're called like the Legacy Squadron, and I think they're all children of heroes from the First War. Okay. Now, in the movie, all we saw was America. Okay. We got little cuts of them flying over different cities in the world, but the whole thing is everybody else had their own battles with them from all the different countries, and all those war heroes, all their kids are now fighter pilots, so they're all part of this special Legacy Squadron, and they're going to do a big, celebratory flyby, from the moon to commemorate the new gun on the moon. And their jet fighters now have those weird jet engines, and so they can fly, from the Earth to the moon is, no problem. So so Dylan gets to the space station, and they had been talking about him, and they were like, man, when he gets here, he's going to be so pissed off at you. It's like, why? Because, man, you almost killed him. He's like, yeah, but whatever. And so he gets there, and they're in the cafeteria, and the guy's drinking moon milk. They made a point to show that. I don't know why, but man, this is boring as fuck, right?
Why? Because I didn't get that joke?
No, because I didn't enjoy the movie, so I'm all half-hearted. No?
Keep going.
All right. So the kid's drinking his moon milk, and Jake is they're talking about the accident, and he had been watching it on a video, and it's supposed to be this big, serious accident. But all it was they were flying through a canyon, and one guy was flying sideways to go between the walls of the canyon, and then this guy, Jake, flew sideways and went through those two walls at the same time, trying to get in front of them so he could be noticed and become the leader of the squadron or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he ended up clipping the guy's wing, and his plane was going down, and he was like, "Mayday, mayday, I'm going down, eject!" And so he ejected, and then the ship blew up. So now he hates the kid. So he gets there, and Jake's like, "Oh man, he's right behind me, isn't he?" He's like, "Yep, he is." So he gets up, he's like, "Let's get this over with." He goes over, he's like, "Hey man, it's good to see you." And the guy just punches him in the face. And he goes down, and then their commander comes in, and he's like, "What the hell's going on? Jake, what is going on here?" And it's his turn, it's his time, he can be like, "He punched me, sir," and get him in trouble. But he was like, "Oh, the floor's real slippery, man. Better be careful in here, sir." And he's like, "Oh yeah, okay, I get what you're doing." And so then he's like, "Yep, good to see you again, Dylan." And then he just leaves. And there's this other girl that showed up in the squadron. I guess she is the commander's daughter. They're from China, I guess. And the little kid is like, "Oh man, I'm in love with her. We're gonna get married. We're gonna have babies. Yeah, whatever." He's like a kind of stupid little comic relief. So he's got a crush on her, and then we finally cut to Jeff Goldblum, and he is in the middle. Jeff Goldblum is in a Humvee. He's in a UN Humvee, and they're speeding through the desert in a little convoy. And he's sitting in his Humvee, and there's this other guy driving, who's his helper. And there's this little tax man in the back seat, and he's like, "Sir," and he's going over numbers and stuff and money and how he's got to cut back on this and that. And Jeff Goldblum is just like, who are you again? He doesn't even know who he is. He's like, "I'm so and so. I'm the tax man." And he's like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." And he's like, "Where are we?" And then they stop, and they are parked right outside of the front gates of this war general. They're in Africa, all right, somewhere in Africa, and they're at a guerrilla camp.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So they're at a guerrilla camp, and there's all these African guys out there with space guns, okay? And Jeff Goldblum is like, "Oh, so I see you found their armory." And he's like, "Come on, we're going to see a friend of ours, little Mr. Warlord. You know, his dad, he was the warlord when the aliens attacked, and now now he's in charge. Come on, let's go meet him, Taxman." And so they get out, and he's like, you find out that he had been called there by the African warlord. And, all these guys, they're all wearing, like, bullet belts and stuff, and, berets, and they're all ragtag and, violent looking. Mm-hmm. But they're all carrying laser guns. And then he turns around, and there is this white lady there who is French, and she is that actress from those Nymphomaniac movies. She's kind of ugly and weird. "What you doing over there? Not listening? Next time you're recapping the movie, and I'm just going to be on the phone, not listening."
Oh, man. All right, the first review is, "Today I learned that a big action movie can be boring." All right, so they're with the gorillas.
They're with the gorillas, and this French lady is there, and she's like, "Oh, Jeff Goldblum, how are you?" And he's like, "Oh, God, it's Kathleen." And she's like, "I'm surprised you remember my name." And the tax man is like, "Oh, you guys know each other." And he's like, "Yeah, well, we bumped into each other a time or two at a conference." And he's like, "I bet you have." And then he's talking to her, and he's like, "Oh, so I'm not the only expert that he called here, So why were you called?" And she was like, "Probably because you suck, and we don't need you here." So they go up this hill, and they're looking over the distance, and you see one of the ships. Because all over the country, the ships are still there that crashed down into the landscape when they, gave the virus to the mothership.
Yeah.
They're all still there. Some of them are like burned out. This one, however, is not. Because you find out that this was the only ship in the entire First War that actually landed on the planet. So it's actually not sitting on the ground. It's on legs. Oh. Okay? Now, down right underneath the ship is a big hole that's going far down into the earth. You can't even see the bottom or whatever. And then they meet the warlord guy, and he's like, "Yeah, this is it. This is the ship." And they're looking at it, and here's the thing: it's off in the distance, but all the lights inside are on. So it looks like ships look. In big giant ships in space movies. It's a big giant ship, and it's like 1,000,000 lights on it because there's so many windows, right? That's what it looks like, because it's still so far away. And Jeff Goldblum's like, "Well, how'd they get the lights on?" And then the warlord, this is actually when he shows up. This is right when he asked that question. He's like, "They just came on by themselves 2 days ago." And it's like, "Oh shit, something happening." So then we also cut to the alien prison. Okay. Yeah, they have an alien prison where they keep all the aliens that are still alive.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and they're all just in little cell blocks that can be like pulled out with big robot arms and stuff like that. And
do they feed them and stuff?
Actually, it turns out that they haven't had to because they've just been comatose for like the 20 years. They've just been sitting there, catatonic. And so these guys at the prison are like, "Oh, get the General so-and-so, who is William Fichtner, who is the new Bill Pullman of the movie." Yeah. He was pretty cool. It was good to see him because I love that guy.
Yeah, he's Shredder.
Yeah, he is Shredder. That's right. He's the one who was supposed to be Shredder in the first movie, and then they fucked that up. The first new movie, you know what I mean. So William Fichtner plays like the Secretary of State or whatever, and General so-and-so, and he's like, "Okay, so what am I here for?" And they're like, "Look at the video of all the prisoners," and it's all the aliens, and they're still in their suits from the first movie. They're like the big giant guys with the tentacles and stuff, and they're all just like jumping around their cages, and like their tentacles are flopping all over the place, and they're going, "Rah, wah, wah, rah, rah." And he's like, "What the hell are they doing?" They've been catatonic for 20 years, and now they're doing this. And when did this start? 2 days ago. So okay. Then we go back to the that ship with Jeff Goldblum and the French lady and the warlord, and they're walking inside of it, and it's all powered up, and they go to a console in the center where there's a little blinking red light, and Jeff Goldblum's like, "Oh, what the hell's this?" And he's like, "Wait a minute, that's the same signal. That's the same signal that we heard from before." And you, as the viewer, are trying to be like, "What signal?" Yeah, he heard a signal, right? That's right. When he was working at the news station, in the first movie, he was like, "Oh, this is aliens." He's calling his wife at the his ex-wife at the freaking.
Is she in this movie?
No. And come to think of it, she was the president's advisor.
Yeah.
So who the hell's the president in this movie? She was in the first movie. I remember seeing her. Anyway, whatever. She ends up dying anyway, so it's all good.
The president?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get there.
Damn, Sam. So he's like, "Oh man, this is the same signal from before." And you're trying to figure out what signal he was talking about. I guess it sounds like the one he heard in the news station or whatever. And then he pushes the button, and then the signal gets like stronger. And he's like, "Oh no, after we killed the mothership from before, we found a signal that was being transmitted from Earth off into deep space, whatever." And it turns out it was this ship sending a distress call back to their home planet. So it's been sending this call for like 20 years. And now everything's starting to wake up. So, the aliens are coming. Also, the warlord, he's the one who called them because back when they destroyed the Queen's ship, as you know from the prison, the aliens didn't all just die. All their technology crashed and stuff, but the aliens were still alive. And this guy's tribe fought them for 10 years after that.
Oh, geez.
And so it turns out he's a real badass, and he knows how to kill them, with swords and shit. And the little tax man is like, "Oh God, you had to kill him?" He's like, "Yes." And he's like, well, how do you do it? He's like, "You have to get them from behind." And he's like, "Whoa," and he's scary. So this warlord, he had exposure to him, all the other people from the first movie, and everyone who had exposure to him is now seeing visions of that circle thing. Which doesn't really explain why President Pullman is having those visions, because I didn't think he really had exposure to him. I guess he was talking to it through the window when Brent Spiner was there.
Yeah.
When he was possessed, who shows back up in this movie.
All right, cool.
Yeah. So the warlord's been having the visions, and he's been drawing the circles and stuff, and he's like, "Now, just after the Queen's ship died or whatever, I saw this," and he shows him a picture, and it is a circle, but it's much more highly detailed. And he's like, "Look at this," and it's a big sphere, and it's got a line through it, all the way through it, but it's horizontal, and it just looks kind of weird, like a big spherical, techno object or whatever. And the French lady is like, "So it looks like you've been learning their language, And he's like, "Yeah, well, they were hunting us, so we had to learn how to hunt them." And so that he knows a little bit of their written language. And she's like, "Yeah, I've seen these symbols before, and all my other patients, when I ask them what they mean, they say it means fear." And he's like, "Yeah." And then we go back to the moon, and they have lost contact with their base on the Saturn moon and stuff like that. And now Saturn's rings are getting pulled out of orbit. They look all like they're going around the planet, all round, and then at one point they just kind of stray off into space, and it's real weird looking.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the same thing starts happening to the moon, and all this dust from the moon is going up into a big wormhole looking thing. And they're all like, "What the hell's going on? Red alert, red alert." And then all of a sudden this ship just comes out of it, and it's a big spherical ship with a line through it. And you're like, "Holy shit." And it just stops right in front of the base, and it kind of points down like it's a head looking down at them.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, they're back, we gotta kill them." And all the military guys are like, "Yeah, that's it, we're powering up the weapon." And Jeff Goldblum is watching on a monitor, because everybody can see on monitors everything that happens everywhere now.
Yeah.
At any given time, the president can just talk to anybody and shit like that. So Jeff Goldblum was like, "President, Madam President, that it does not look like their technology. I think this is another race. I think this is a different species of alien." And she's like, "Yeah, but what if you're wrong?" He's like, "Well, I'm probably not." And she's like, "We're calling a vote," and they the World Peace Council has to vote, and everybody's got to, all the UN, the future United Nations, and the fun. So they're all voting, and they all vote to shoot it out of the sky. So they do, and they power up their brand new weapon, and they just shoot it, and it just blows up, and then falls around and goes to some other crater on the moon. And Jeff Goldblum is like, you got to send a team. You got to send a team over to investigate the crash and find out who it was. And they're like, yeah, that's cool. We will. But, we have the big celebration. So you need to get to the Capitol. And you're going to be standing behind us when we do that, when we give the address. And you're going to put on your best smile. And he's like, you want to see my best smile? And he just hangs up on him. And the guy's like, did he just hang up on me? Yeah, that's what it looks like. Anyway, so then you got the Jake kid with his little partner, man. And he's like, come on, we're getting out of here. And he's like, what? You can't steal a ship? You're grounded. He's like, fuck it, I don't care. So they go and they steal one of the space tugs, and they're leaving. And he's like, where are we going? He's like, we gotta go pick somebody up. He shows up in Africa. Takes the space tug down to Africa to go pick up Jeff Goldblum, because, they're buddies. And he's like, you called for a taxi? He's like, yeah, come on, we gotta go check out that wreck. I don't care about that address, whatever, I'm gonna do whatever I want. Because they put him in charge of alien shit for the UN. So that's what he's been doing for 20 years.
Yeah.
So the kid picks him up. He's like, yeah, come on, we gotta go check out this wreckage. And then the warlord is like, I am going with you. And he's like, oh, no, man, you can't do that. No. And he's like, yeah, my people let you in. It would be a mistake for you to not let me in. And he's like, okay, I guess you're coming.
Is he famous?
I don't think so. I don't recognize him.
Okay.
Anyway, then the French lady's like, I am going too. And the little tax man is like, well, I'm coming too. And, no, you know what? I'm wrong. He was like, fuck that, I'm not going. And then Jeff Goldblum was like, yeah, come on, it'll do you some good. He's like, no, I'm not going. He turns around and it's nothing but scary, African warlord guys, and he's like, okay, yeah, I'll come. And so they go and they're checking out the wreckage, and it's just Jeff Goldblum and the pilot Jake in spacesuits looking around, okay? So then they find this big giant block with another sphere inside of it that looks the same, with the line through it. And they're like, oh, this is something special. What the hell is this? I don't know. We better pick it up. And then all of a sudden, out of space comes the giant alien mothership that's coming. And it's like bigger than the moon, okay? It's like almost as big as the planet Earth, okay? And this is probably the ship that killed that planet that you went by in the first one. Mm-hmm. Not the first one. The first part of the movie.
Yeah.
So, and when they were looking at that hole underneath the ship, it was like, what were they looking for? And he was like, they were drilling. He's like, well, they must have been after our molten core, for some reason, like for fuel or something. That would kill all life on Earth, whatever. It would fuck everything up. Everybody dies. No stopping that apocalypse, So that ship starts coming in, and it's coming over the moon and everything, and they're all like, oh shit. So they're powering up the gun, and they start shooting it, and just like the first ship in all the ships in the first movie, it's got a shield, and it doesn't do anything. And then it fires its own gun, which all has the same laser effects, because our technology is based on theirs, and does the same thing. Only we didn't have the shield over our station, so it just blew it up, and everybody's like, oh shit. We're dead. And but all that Legacy Squadron, they all escaped. They all got into their planes and flew away.
So Dylan got out.
Yeah, Dylan got out. The Chinese girl got out, and all of their friends who never have lines or anything like that, but are all part of the squadron. So it's coming. Now it's going past the moon and it's coming for Earth. And the little guy in the space tug has to pick up Jeff Goldblum and Jake. And
what do these space tugs look like?
They look like little submarines.
Okay.
With arms. Yeah, that's exactly what they look like. Little white ones. So they go and they pick them up, but Jeff Goldblum and Jake got they were right next to some debris hitting the ground and stuff like that, and so they flew up into the air. All this debris is flying around, not only from the wreck of the ship that crashed right there, but also the Earth is also now surrounded by the debris field from the Queen mothership from the first movie that blew up. all that debris, it's still, orbiting the Earth.
Yeah.
So now Earth, like, has its own, like, man-made asteroid belt kind of thing,
Yeah.
So it's just more like, it's not even Earth anymore. It's just, alien culture. So all that stuff's flying around, and it's hitting the moon. And, everywhere it hits, dust goes up in the air, and, then one hits, and Jeff Goldblum and Jake go up in the air, and it's still space. So once they get far enough away from the moon, they're floating, So they're just floating up, and he catches them with the little tug, and then they have to flip around and grab the block with the ball in it, the artifact, and they get it, and then they're trying to escape the ship, but then they get pulled up into its own gravity. So now they're just floating underneath it with all the other debris. And it starts going through the Earth's atmosphere, and it's all burny and fiery at the front and everything, and their ship is burning and stuff, and, it's not like, they're not going to die, because they're like space tanks. They actually said that in the movie. That's how strong they are. It's how you get away from the science of burning up in the atmosphere. Don't worry, it's a space tank. So they're coming into Earth atmosphere, and they're just like along for the ride. They can't break, the gravity away from the ship, so they're just like watching everything happen. And as it's coming in and like crashing into the atmosphere, it's sort of crashing into the water. It's coming in real hot. So it's destroying cities and stuff as it's coming in, and then its landing gears start coming down, which are all like as big as the ships from the first movie, just the landing gears themselves. So those are causing all sorts of devastation, and one of them's coming into the water, and in the water is Jeff Goldblum's dad on his boat, and they showed him in an earlier scene. See, in a movie like this, you got like 500 people to see, in different places on the Earth, so it's kind of hard to keep track of. He was in an old folks' rest home trying to sell his book, and his book is called How I Saved the World.
Judd Hirsch, man, he kicked ass in that movie, and he kicks ass in every movie.
I cannot say I agree. I was not pleased that he was back.
I love that actor. And I'm looking, and it says Robert Loggia is in this movie.
Yep, he showed up. He was sitting at the address.
Oh, my God.
And that's like all he did, though. All he did was sit, smile, and then the camera went on him, and he like nodded. He didn't get any lines.
Rest in peace, Robert Loggia.
Yeah, for real. Okay, so
he's in the water. Judd Hirsch.
He's in the water. Now let me back up a minute. The President Pullman, he's in his hotel room, right? Freaking out with the drawings. So he's got one Secret Service guy that like hangs out with him and does everything for him. And his daughter, shows up. She's like, "Hey, Dad," and he's like, "Hey, pumpkin tits." And she's like, "So, you don't worry, you were the greatest president ever, and we all still love you, Dad." And he's like, "Yeah, something's wrong. I gotta warn everybody," because he's getting visions. The warlord was also getting visions, like I said. So that's why he called, everybody. Yeah. Everybody who ever had any contact with him is getting visions. So at that point, you're like, well, where the hell's Brent Spiner? He had the most contact with him ever. Right? Well, so President Pullman is like, I got to warn everybody. She's like, no, you're not going anywhere. And she looks at his agent, and she's like, don't let him go anywhere. So then she comes in to see him, and, he's in bed sleeping under the blankets with the blankets pulled all the way up over his head on the pillow. And she's like, Dad? And she pulls the blankets, and it's just pillows. Total... like unbelievable cliche. And he escaped. He escaped from his Secret Service agent. And he shows up at the presidential address. He just like walks in. And all the Secret Service agents that are guarding the president are just like, hey, it's the other president. Let him on in. No problem. He's like walking around with a cane because he's all fucked up now from his madness. And his big old bushy beard. And they're like, he turns around. He's obviously like in distress. Like he's like coming to say some crazy shit. And they're all just like, hey, it's President Pullman here to say a few words. And he looks over, and that's where you see Robert Loggia. And he's just sitting there. And he just looks at him and like kind of nods. And then Pullman just kind of nods back, but I got to warn everybody. And he gets up to the mic. President just gets out of his way. And he gets up and he's like, yeah, it's they're coming. They're coming. Ow! and then he just like gets a fucking aneurysm in his brain, and he starts like, you hear this wee, and he's like, and he goes down, and then they're all like, oh good, save him, help him. So then that's when the ship starts coming in, and everybody starts freaking out. So back to old man, what's his name, on his boat. He's like sitting there cooking a steak. Nobody bought his book. He's got all these copies of his book sitting around. And then he turns around and there's a big old fucking tidal wave coming. So he's like, oh shit. And he just starts driving the boat away from the tidal wave. And he's like calling his son. And his son is like doing all this like, space shit. And
still in space?
I think he was still in space.
Okay.
Yeah, because they were caught in the gravity of the ship. So he actually calls him, gets him on the phone. And he's like, Dad, where are you? And he's like, I'm on my boat, where else? And he's like, oh shit, you gotta get to safety. And he's like, yeah, I'm trying. And then the show's behind the boat, and it's like, the ship's coming. It's right behind his boat, out of everybody on the planet. Anyway, then it cuts away, and he's like riding this wave down like the perfect storm,
Yeah.
and like riding it straight down on this boat. He's surviving, other people didn't, and yeah, that's right. Here's one thing that I really loved about this movie. Okay,
loved?
Yes.
Okay.
In the big montage of seeing where everybody from the first movie is, okay, we see Vivica A. Fox, who was, if you'll remember from the first film, was a stripper.
Yeah.
Okay, she was Will Smith's girlfriend. They had a shotgun wedding, real quick right there before he went off and died, so that she could get benefits or whatever in case he died. Now she's a doctor.
Oh.
And she is like in some big professional doctor position at this hospital, like she's in charge of it or something, and she's walking around telling all of the doctors and nurses what to go and do, and she's wearing a suit, and she's got real short hair, and she's very professional looking, and she's giving everybody, and I'm just like, really? Yeah. You became a doctor? Not just a doctor, like now you run the hospital?
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying that can't happen, all right? But it's just a little weird. I guess, when Will Smith like saved the world, he was like, yeah, you need to become like a doctor or something. And she was
or
like,
she
okay.
had nothing to do when he died.
Yeah. Well, so she's, anyway, I intensely dislike Vivica A. Fox. So I was like, what the fuck?
Does it keep going back to her?
No. Well, yeah, it goes back to her once. When all the chaos is happening, she's helping this young patient that just had her baby, and she's like, "Don't worry, I'm not gonna leave you." And everybody's freaking out, and stuff's the power's going out and everything, and everybody's like, they're all, because all this, everybody has spaceships now. They're all evacuating the hospital. She gets this patient up to the roof of the hospital, and they're like the last people in the building, and they just missed the boat. Okay, and the ship's like flying away, and there she is on the roof with this girl and her baby, and then Dylan shows up, who is her son, okay? Yeah. Shows up just in time to see her down there, and he's like, oh my God, there's survivors on the, he's speeding towards it, but he's like, there's survivors on top of the hospital that need help, and the president's helicopter, Marine One, that's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
Which doesn't have a rotor anymore, it's just got a glowing green engine, so it's just like a helicopter without the spinning blades, it's weird looking.
Oh, jeez.
Looks like a big submarine. So it like whew, floats by and like that they actually make it in time to pick them up, and
the president picks them up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. So they pull over, and the tidal wave of destruction is like unbelievably close to the building. Okay, like. They did not have time to pick those people up. It was just like, what the fuck? So, but, they're picking them up. Now, they pull over, and they open the door, and the lady, the patient, like, hesitates before she hands the baby to the guy, and she's like, she even says, like, she has time to say, be careful with him. And then Vivica Fox is like, give him the baby! God, give it to him, it's fine! And she gives him the baby, and then she pulls her in, they pull her inside, and Vivica Fox is like, no, you get in first! And then she gets the baby and the patient onto the helicopter, and then they don't have time for shit else, so the building collapses. Vivica Fox like, oh, she's falling! And then the guy like grabs her hand, she's hanging by the helicopter, and then he loses his grip, and she falls down into her death. And Dylan like, sees it happen from his jet.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So then, like, it's just like little tiny little Vivica Fox body just like going down. And I was like, good.
She came back for that.
She came back to be a doctor.
All right.
That is why Vivica Fox came back. And then I'll bet you that was some sort of stipulation for her coming back. I ain't gonna be a stripper.
Do you think she called Will Smith and was like, if you be in the movie, they won't kill me?
And he was like, who is this? Texting back, who is this?
All right, so Dylan's all shook up.
So he's all shook up, and he's like, oh, God. Okay, so then it cuts to, there's this little group of kids. Now the ship lands, and it starts drilling. With this big laser thing down through the center, right down into the ocean. And there's this little boat full of, ship salvage guys, treasure hunters that look for sunken ships, and they salvage all the crap in. And they're like, well, there's like, they're looking at this ship, and they're like, there's like $100 million worth of gold in here. We're not leaving. And they're like, they're saying we got to get out of here, man. And nope, we're not leaving. And then everything fucks up, and causes all this damage, and all their communications go away, and they go out. So they have to communicate with a little shortwave radio now. Anyway, so now after the devastation, you got this group of kids driving through all the after all the chaos has happened, it's all quiet and everything's destroyed, and they're driving through the flooded streets in like a Volkswagen, and they're like, they're just kids, and there's like a fucking 12-year-old girl driving the car, and you don't even have your license. Well, who the hell's gonna pull us over? Everybody's dead, and they're passing by people, and then they pass by this boat, that's well out of the water. There's no more water anymore, and there's Jeff Goldblum's dad sitting on a chair, and he's like passed out. They're like, I think he's alive. So they pick him up, and he's in the back of the car. He wakes up, and he like had his book in his arm or something like that. And one of the kids is like reading it. It's like, says here you saved the world. And when he was in the old folks' home selling the book, he was like, and that was when I had the idea that saved the world. I guess when he said like, you'll catch cold. Remember? Oh, that's it. I'll give it a cold. Sound guy's leaving. He has given up. Oh, he's got a phone call. So the kids are driving in the car, and Jeff Goldblum's dad wakes up, and he's like, what the hell's going on? And they're like, yeah, we're driving. We're, we don't know where we're going. He's like, well, we need to go and get by my David. That's the safest place to be, is by my David. And they're like, okay. Hey, so he's really your son? He's like a hero. He's like the most famous guy in the world now,
Yeah.
Like, we want to meet him. He's like a big celebrity. And he's like, yeah, of course. Let's go be by my David. He says that like a million times. By my David. We need to be by my David.
Do they explain how Will Smith dies?
Yeah, at the very beginning, they were like, he died in that tragic training accident.
Fucking training?
Yep.
Okay.
Like, he's like we all have this new flying technology because he was there, like, helping figure out how to use it. And then, whatever, he died.
All right.
He died of fame. Too famous for this movie. Do you remember how obsessed you were with the first movie?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, you were, too.
That was in Germany when I lived there.
Oh, yeah.
It turns out, over here, everyone was obsessed with it.
Really?
Yeah, it was like the #1 movie of the year.
Man. They even made action figures for that movie, okay? And you had all of them. Uh-huh. All right? It was crazy to watch.
I even had the big one that made noise.
Yeah, which is weird because that could... Well, we'll get back to that later. But anyway...
Oh, those are in the movie?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's a big one. Okay. But yeah, I remember you telling me, like, years went by, and, because I remember your obsession with it, and then years went by, and we were talking about it one day, and you were like, yeah, I thought about that movie every day for like a year. Man, you did too.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, and that big one that you had, it was like a like a guard for your room. When people walk by it, it would open up and hiss.
It had a laser detector.
Yeah.
It would detect motion.
Uh-huh.
It would make noise.
That was cool. Then it broke. You broke it, right?
Well, it wouldn't. You'd turn it off, and it would still make noise.
So it eventually just died.
Yeah, we had to like destroy it.
Yeah. To make it stop.
It'd be like 2 a.m. I got to go to school in the morning, and I'm hearing this.
All right, so where was I?
We got to go be by my David.
Yeah, all right. Well, the safest place in the world right now is to be by my David. You want me? I'll just do that for another 20 minutes.
I like this movie so far.
All right. So he's got to go be by his David. And the kids are like, okay. So now the ship is stopped, and we're back in the I guess the alien prison? Okay, no. Check this out. So we're in a hospital room, okay? This might have happened another time. It might have happened earlier, but whatever. There's a good time to bring it up. We're in this hospital room, and there's, there's like the sound of, breathing machines and stuff, and beep, beep, beep. And you see that somebody's laying there in a coma. And it is Brent Spiner.
Fuck yeah.
Laying there in the hospital bed with his long gray hair. Okay? And he's like still unshaven. He doesn't have a full beard, but, he's all scruffy.
Yeah.
And this guy walks in. This like kind of overweight, balding guy with a beard. And he's like, walks up to him and he's like, hey, he's talking to him. He's in his coma still, but he's like, hey, I brought you some more. And he's putting orchids on the windowsill, and then there's a bunch of them. So he's been bringing him orchids. He's like, we got to take care of this one and that one. Oh, and guess what? I took a knitting class and I made this for you. And he brings him a little scarf, and it's like a scarf that is like 1.5 feet long, and he puts it around his neck and it buttons shut with like one button. This is weird, right? So it's just like, I don't know, something to keep his neck warm. Puts it on him. He's talking to him. He's like, I took a knitting class and I made this for you. And then camera looks down at Brent Spiner's fingers and they start twitching. And he just fucking wakes up screaming. And he's like, oh my God, you're awake. And you, at this point, are like, what the hell's going on here? Who is this guy? Like his brother or something? Nope, it's not his brother.
Husband?
It is his husband.
Okay.
And
all right.
He's like, babe, you're awake. And Brent Spiner wakes up and he's looking at him. He's like, "Oh, it's you! Yeah, thank God." And then he just looks at his husband and he goes, "Did we win?"
So he's been asleep for a while.
He's been asleep for 20 fucking years.
And we're already in another battle.
Yeah.
All right.
And
I like it.
He's like, "Did we win?" And the guy's like, "What?" And he's like, he looks at him. He's like, "You've been asleep for a long time, hun." And he's like, Brent Spiner just looking at him and he just goes, "You got fat." And he's looking up and he goes, "And balder." And his husband is like, he's got this looks on his face like, shit. And then Brent Spiner puts his hand on top of his own head to check himself, and he's still got all that hair, and he's like, oh. Okay. So now the ship has landed, and there's no big ships coming out of it to attack. Now, while it was flying down, it was still like picking up all the cars and the buildings like they were in the first one,
Mm-hmm.
because of that gravity thing that they have going on. That's how everybody died, But and it had also just obliterated, because they had this whole like orbital array of all of those big giant super guns that they tried to fire all of them at once at that thing, and none of it would penetrate, and actually barely any of them even got to fire because it just targeted all of them and just and just destroyed all of them. So it just made quick work of everything that humans had been working on for 20 years. That's the whole tagline for the movie. We had 20 years to prepare.
Yeah.
And that's like a big line from the preview. Was Jeff Goldblum saying, like, I had 20 years to get us ready, and I failed. I suck. So he's like he's kind of dealing with that. So nothing's coming out of it, and it just starts drilling. So they know that it's after the Earth's core. You know, they don't really know why, but you know, why else? You know, like just mining. And the president lady is hanging around with all of her like Joint Chiefs of Staff and the vice president and the aliens. You know, they I think they the aliens send in a group of people, not people, aliens, into wherever they are, and they just obliterate them. So all of them are dead. The president dies with the vice president and everybody else. And
no, wait. So, like soldier aliens,
yeah,
like the big things, are they like in vehicles and stuff?
No, they just came out
Out of a door.
Yeah.
In this big ship.
Yeah, and
which is in the water.
Well, see, that's how big it is.
Okay.
Is only one leg of it is in the water. You know.
All right.
Maybe they came out in a ship. You know what? I don't know.
They got guns.
Yeah, of course they got guns.
They're not just using tentacles and all that.
No, they are using guns. They are soldiers.
Okay.
And you know, all those guns that all these guys have, all these laser guns that all the humans are using, they are all just alien guns. They're not like, it's our technology. Like, we stole their technology, and now we all use laser guns. Like, because all the humans that don't have those, they're just firing bullets. So it's like we didn't use that technology for our weapons. Only the big giant super cannons.
Yeah.
You know? Like the pilots, when they crash, and then they get out and they're like using their own sidearm, it's just bullets.
Oh,
you know, which is dumb. They didn't really think that through. And that's why Jeff Goldblum was like, I see you found their armory, when all the warlord guys had, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so now they're all at the bunker at Area 51 that they were in the first one.
So the president's gone.
The president is gone.
Was that a big moment?
It was supposed to be.
Okay.
It was very anticlimactic because, number one, you didn't really like the president. But you didn't really... It's not like you didn't like her because she was a woman. You could tell she was a woman because of, like, the director's political views or whatever. But,
yeah,
you know, it didn't really matter. Yeah, I didn't really feel that.
Was this at the big celebration that they were doing? Or had that moved on?
That had moved on.
Okay.
So now William Fichtner, Secretary of State, he gets a phone call. He's like, they're like, sir, the president and everyone else in the chain of command has died, and the people are on their way to you to swear you in. You're the only survivor, and now you are the new president. And you, as the viewer, are like, fuck yeah, William Fichtner, President Fichtner. And he's all like, fucking badass hero general, and he's like, yep, a man's got to do what a man's got to do.
What's he wearing?
He's wearing his general outfit.
Okay. Like green.
It's like blue.
Cocktail of medals and all that?
Yeah. Fruit salad is what they call it. So, yeah. But he's not wearing, like, fatigues like Robert Loggia was. Anyway, he gets sworn in. He's the new president. So
he's at Area 51?
Yeah. They also set off an EMP, and all of the electronics go out. Everybody's satellite uplink and the way they can talk to each other, it's all gone. So they go into this old locker, and they're like, yeah, we got this old radar truck, you know. We better maybe pull this out and use it. So then Dr. Brent Spiner comes in, and he's like, oh, man, look at all this shit, you know. And then he sees the space tug with the big artifact that they pulled out of that weird sphere ship, okay?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, look at that. And he goes, we need to open that thing up. And they're like, all right. And they just he just like woke up out of a coma. He's actually still walking around in his hospital gown. You actually see his ass.
Mm-hmm.
He's like wearing whitey tighties, but they're made out of netting. Okay? Like needlessly.
Yeah.
All right? Future underwear. Made out of nets. And, his husband's running around behind him. And he's like, well, we got to get that thing open. So he like goes and he's like trying to cut it open with a big saw, and the saw just like gets chewed up. And it's nothing. He's like, whoa. So then he goes and he gets this big giant super laser that he invented in the 60s. And he's using that to cut the thing open, and it actually works. And inside of it is this white sphere ball, okay? And it comes out and rolls into the middle of the room. And he's like, all right, go get everybody. I got it open. So they bring the president and Jeff Goldblum and everybody else, and they're all looking at it. And they're like, yeah, we don't know how to turn it on. We're doing scans and nothing. We can't get anything. It's not giving any signals or anything like that. And then the little tax man walks up to it, and he like puts his hands on it. And he's like, it's really smooth. And then Dr. Brent Spiner is like, get your hands off of it. You're going to contaminate it, you fuck. And he's like, oh, okay. And he tries to pull his hands off, and they won't come off.
Oh,
and he's like, I'm stuck. Well, what do you mean you're stuck? And then his hands just like sink into it. And he's like, I can't get out. I can't move. And then it powers up. It's like, that's how you turn it on. It's touching it. So the little tax man figured it out. So then it powers up, and then all of this like weird holographic stuff comes out of it, but it's like very organic looking. Okay, like it almost looks like spirit stuff, flying around, and it kind of levitates into the air, and then it starts talking to him, and it starts talking in this little voice, this little like a little kid's computer voice, and it says, "Yep, we are a race of people that I came here to help you. You're such primitive people." And the doctor is like, "Well, what do you mean? You think we're primitive?" And he's like, "Oh, hell yeah. Me and my people, we discarded our bodies, thousands of years ago to live a digital existence." And you're like, "Oh, wow, that's weird, and I still can't identify with anything in this film."
All right.
It's like, we came to help you because, I came to help you. I'm actually the last survivor of my race. And I actually have a secret planet somewhere off in the galaxy, somewhere off in the universe, where I actually train other races on how to fight these fuckers. I teach them how to build weapons that will defeat their weapons, and then it like shows little holographic models and everything of what it's got going on, and it's like badass planetary defense systems and everything that, like, man, if we had that shit, that would be tits, that would be fucking awesome. Mm-hmm. These guys wouldn't be a problem. And he's like, yeah, I train. That's what I do. I train races to take care of this shit. And, here's the thing. The queen...
He still showed up too late.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, it actually showed up, kind of in time, but, we blew him to hell.
Okay.
He had a whole ship with him.
Oh, gotcha.
That was probably full of stuff. And at this point, the lady psychologist is, like, talking to the warlord, and she's like, yeah, that symbol, the circle with the line through it, there was one person that told me when he translated the symbol that it wasn't fear, but it was the word enemy. And so it turns out that is the Independence Day aliens' enemy, is these sphere people.
Do they have a name for them?
They do not.
Okay.
There's only one of them.
Now, are we seeing a lot of battle action, human against those aliens?
Not quite yet.
Like in the field?
So, in the first act, it's all like devastation and shit.
Okay.
We do end up seeing some of that. But,
That's one thing the first movie was missing.
Well, what we do get is another big, giant, impossibly complicated firefight between two armies of air vehicles.
Okay.
There's the jets versus the alien crafts. They do that where it's all just a big fucking swarm,
Yeah.
They do that again, and then they have... the humans' last stand in Area 51. Just like they did in the first one,
Okay. We're not there yet.
Correct. Now, Bill Pullman had shown up, and they were like, oh, Mr. President. And fucking Brent Spiner was like, hey, Mr. President, how's it going? Bill Pullman's like, Dr. Brent Spiner, you're awake. And he's like, yeah. So he's like, all right, we gotta interrogate one of these fuckers in the prison, all right? So they're like, yeah, no, we're not going to let you do anything like that, And he's like, yeah, okay, it's cool. I'm not going to do anything. And then they turn around. They're like, where's President Pullman? And he's gone. And then they're looking at the screens in the prison, and he's going to do it. And he's already pulled one of the prisoners' blocks out, and he puts it in that same isolation chamber. And then he gets inside with it, okay? And then the door is opening, and his daughter runs in. And now the big glass wall is there, so, she can't get at him to rescue him. And she's like, Dad, no, don't do it. And he's like, he turns around and he's like, don't worry about it. Just get all the answers that you can out of this shit. And then the door opens and it fills the room with fog. And then President Pullman's body now slammed up against the glass with the tentacle around his neck. And they're talking to the alien through him like they did with Brent Spiner. Okay. And it's like, yeah, none of this shit matters, because... she's coming. She's here. And they're like, who's she? What are they talking about, she? And it turns out they got a queen.
Yeah.
It's a big old alien queen. And you're like, really? A giant alien? Like a giant queen alien? That's totally original. It controls all of them, you say?
Mm-hmm.
So it actually doesn't kill him. They do end up, because it's about to kill the President Pullman. I can't. Fucking President Pullman is what I'm calling him for this podcast. It's about to kill him, and then they just start shooting it, and they kill it. And he doesn't die, and he doesn't even go into a 20-year coma. You know, he does wake up. So they're saying, here's what we're going to do. They're looking at heat images of the ship, and they see in the very center of it is this giant heat signature. And they're like, well, that's the Queen. That's the Queen right there. That's what that is. So we're going to send people up, and, we're going to just blow the hell out of the center of the ship. And that's when we get to see the big firefight, because now the Legacy Squadron is leading that. And that guy Jake is in there, too, because he's a capable pilot. And it's like, all pilots on deck, let's do this.
Yeah.
And it fails, you know. They can't get close enough to it because that ship is too heavily armed. And, you know, they were able to get through the shield this time. It wasn't a big deal, but, you know, there's these huge guns on it and shit, and they're just blowing everybody up. So during that firefight, Jake actually does save the life of Dylan, you know, who had some guys on his tail, and he blew them up and stuff. So he kind of redeems himself. Now they're buddies again.
Okay.
So they were talking to the alien sphere, and it was like, well, here's the thing, guys, is now that you guys woke me up, their queen is going to know that I'm here. She's going to read my signature, and then this is intercut with shots of the queen reading the signature and like seeing what's happening. Mm-hmm. And now she's going to want to come and kill me, and because I'm the last of my kind. So she's going to kill me, and when she kills me, she's going to get the location of that planet that I was talking about, and all of you are fucked. All of you being the universe.
What does she look like?
She who?
The Queen.
She looks like a giant version of the little aliens that are inside of the suits. Okay. Now, when she reads the signature, you know, she's just bigger, but like maybe a little meaner looking. Okay. She is huge. When she sees that, she goes, you know, she's like, and she like goes across this, across the floor, and then pushes a button, and then a big giant exosuit comes down, and she climbs into it, and it's the exact same looking as the others. It's just like 5 stories tall. Okay, it's not like big and spiny or anything different at all. It just looks totally the same.
Okay.
So it starts coming after them. And, it's in its own little ship, and it kind of detaches from the center of the giant ship, which is still drilling, so it can't move. And so the Queen's ship starts flying towards Area 51, and it's coming for the signal that this alien sphere is giving off. And then that's when Jeff Goldblum is like, hey, I have another planet-saving idea. Here's what we're going to do. We're gonna simulate the signal that the sphere is giving off, and we're going to draw it away. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to draw it into the salt flats, and then we're just going to blow it to shit. Okay? And we're going to hide the alien sphere in that isolation chamber so that it can't give off its signal. I guess, they don't really say it, but that's what they say, We're going to hide it in the isolation chamber. So in the isolation chamber, I guess, you can't read any signals or anything like that. So that's right. What they do. And they use that radar truck, to see the radar of around the base, because they don't have any satellites anymore. And so they're out in the salt flats setting all that up, okay? And the whole movie long, you keep cutting back to the guys in the boat that were treasure hunters. And they had gotten a call from the U.S. government saying, we need somebody who is close to the drilling action to keep us posted on what's going on there. And the guys are like, well, we're getting drunk because the world is ending, so fuck that, and fuck you. And the guy's like, come on, seriously, like, this is a big deal. Like, we should do this. And he's like, yeah, sure, tell him we'll do it for $100 million. And then the guy says something into the phone. He turns around and he says, they say you got a deal. And he's like, well, fuck it. Okay, let's do it. And then they get all serious. So then they're, like, monitoring the drilling action, even though they're just, like, treasure hunters on a ship. Yeah. I guess they got some sonar and stuff like that, so they can tell as treasure hunters on sunken ship hunters, they can tell the remaining integrity of the Earth's crust.
Okay.
Okay, and they're like, we're at 42%. We only have 7 hours. I don't know how they could tell that, but they could.
I'll buy it.
Yeah, sure, why not? So he's out there setting up the trap, and now his dad is now driving in with a school bus full of kids, because he was driving in the Volkswagen with the little family of kids, and he was like, where's your parents? And they were like, well, they were in Florida. And he's like, oh, okay. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like Florida's gone, but they never showed anything like that or anything like that, whatever. Yeah. But he's just, I guess your parents are dead, kid. And I, as, watching the movie, I'm like, if they're in Florida, they're probably fine. So anyway, they ran out of gas, and then they came up to a school bus with all these kids leaning up against it. He's like, "Where are all the grown-ups?" And they're like, "Well, the driver left. He's getting a ride to Minnesota." "Well, why?" "He's going to go have sex with his girlfriend." "And he just left you here?" "Yeah." They're all just sitting there.
How old are they?
They're small elementary school children.
Okay.
They're all still okay. No one's been kidnapped or raped or anything like that. Even though it's like mayhem, in the world, and everybody's in these big long car lines, evacuation and stuff like that. So thank God they're okay. Jeff Goldblum's dad gets into the bus and he turns it on and looks at the gas. There's plenty of gas. He's like, "Come on, everybody on the bus." And he's got this big collection of kids now. And they're like, "Where are we going?" "Well, we're going to be by my David." So now, while David is out there setting up the trap, and it's working, okay? The Queen ship starts flying away from the base and towards the desert. And, the guys out front of the Area 51 with all the guns, the warlord's there, and the tax man is right next to him. And, they're, shooting and stuff like that. And
shooting who?
I guess they let some aliens loose, when they were still over there by the base. Aliens were trying to come in.
Okay.
And, look around. They actually are the ones who...
Do they still have a bunch of living aliens in these cells?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay. Who are all still going crazy.
And have to go to the bathroom?
The aliens?
Yeah.
I guess. I'm sure,
That's why they're going crazy.
Well, it's funny.
Okay.
Did you write that? Did you hire somebody to write that for you?
I've been waiting to use that.
I could tell. Where was I?
They've been fighting outside the base at Area 51.
The warlord has to have his moment to shine, okay? Because he knows how to kill these guys. So they have to have some infiltrate the base, and he's in there, and he's got these 2 machetes that go into holsters on his back.
Are they glowing green?
They're not glowing green. They're just regular machetes. But they're like, he pulled them out of a ceremonial briefcase.
Oh.
When he was back at his house. Before he left, to go, he pulled them out like they belonged to his father. And then his father's father, these 2 machetes. Handed down.
Are they like carved?
No. They look like Walmart machetes.
Okay.
They look like something that those African guys killed Sigourney Weaver with in fucking Gorillas in the Mist, just like Walmart machetes.
Okay.
Seen more action than a lot of military weapons in America. Anyway, he's got these machetes. And they're in there, and they're trying to defend trying to make sure nobody goes near the ball, okay? Because no one can find the ball. If they find the ball, then it's, the plan is screwed. So there's aliens in there jumping around, and they're shooting at him and stuff, and that guy, the warlord, gets behind him and jams his 2, machetes into the back of it, which turns out, is its weak spot, okay? So you just jam, all you got to do to kill these aliens, it turns out, is just jam 2 machetes into its back, and then the front of it just, opens up and, pukes out the alien inside. And so then he's, crawling forward, trying to, trying to go somewhere and live.
Yeah.
And then you just cut its head off with one of the machetes. So he does that, and the tax man is like, "Man, you are a fucking badass, man." And he's like, "Yeah, I told you."
In the first one, this is what you wanted to see.
Yeah.
So this is cool.
So, out in the desert, here comes the Queen ship. It's coming. Trap is working. Here she comes. Ship's coming. And then they look over, and there's a fucking school bus coming. Driving right towards the trap. Right towards the Queen ship. And he's like, "Oh my God. No, no, no. Who the fuck is that? Who the fuck is that?" And he puts up this pair of binoculars. The bus is still fucking 2 miles away, okay? And he puts up this pair of binoculars, and you see through the binoculars, clear as fucking day that it's his dad. It's
So the school bus is where they're sending this fake signal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, out in the middle, somehow, he was just driving through the salt flats towards Area 51, he just knows which way it is.
Yeah.
We don't need the road. I'll just take a shortcut to my David, okay? And goes right to him somehow, all right? And he's like, "No, no, 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 no," and he's waving his hands. And they're like, "Hey, some guy's over there waving his hands." And then he looks over, he's like, "Oh, that's my David!" And he turns the bus and heads for him. And he's like, "Okay." And then David's like, "Yes, yes, come over here, that's great, that's great." Now, at some point, the Legacy Squadron. This is a whole different thing. Okay, now, when they were still doing the big onslaught, trying to like shoot the top of the ship open to kill the Queen before it left, right? And it didn't work, so they were like, they see a little door down near the bottom of the ship, and they're like, you know what, this isn't going to work, we're going to fly inside, okay? And they're like, no, don't do that, you know, you don't know what's in there, you're all going to die. Like, well, no, we got to do it, because we're heroes. And they all just fly in. None of the aliens follow them inside.
This is the big drilling ship?
Yes.
Okay.
They're inside, and it's all quiet, and they're looking down. Now, remember, this ship is huge, okay? It's almost as big as planet Earth, okay?
But they're still in their ships?
Yeah,
okay.
In their jets. So they're flying in, and they're looking down, and there's like whole ecosystems inside of this ship. There's like running water, you know, not running water, but like, you know, like flowing water, like rivers and shit, and trees and everything on the inside of the ship. You know, but it's all like dark and green, and, you know, no light whatsoever. And there's aliens walking around and all kinds of shit. And so they ended up getting, they were going to take some bombs in to blow up the Queen, but then the Queen, like, knew they were coming. You know, so she sent a bunch of little remote control devices that went and clipped onto all of their bombs. So they get close to the center of the ship, and they're like, you know what, let's just detonate the bombs. We're all going to die, but at least we'll save the world. So then they detonate the bombs, and the bombs have now been encapsulated in shields. So all the bombs go off, and they just look like balls of smoke and fire. Perfectly round, okay? Yeah. So then they're all falling. You know, because it damaged their ships and everything, and they all had ejected or whatever, and they're all still alive, okay, and they all fall in water, so nobody's dead, and now they're having like a little
Dylan's in here.
Yeah, Dylan and Jake together again. Okay.
And there's an Asian girl.
Yep, and then a bunch of nondescript people, and then also Jake's little buddy. Okay.
Where is Bill Pullman's daughter?
Bill Pullman's daughter is watching over her dad. Okay. Because he didn't go into a full 20-year coma, but he was still like shaken up. Okay? Pretty shaken up. So they're in there, and they're, crawling through the mud and evading these aliens and climbing up to the top of this ridge. And they meet up with his little buddy, and they're like, yeah, let's get out of here. Let's steal those fighter ships. So they go and steal a couple of those fighters, the alien fighters. And the guy Jake is like, he's talking to the guys, the aliens up in the tower, and he's causing a diversion. And he's like, yeah, fuck you guys. And he puts his middle finger up, and then he like unzips his whole flight suit so he can pee, and he's peeing in front of them and flipping them off. And then right down below those aliens, a door opens up, and then some exoskeleton shock troopers come out. They just start shooting at him. So he's got to run. And then they get in the ships, and then they fly out and they escape the ship. Okay? Now, to get the Queen to fly out to the trap that David was setting up, they had to set up the fake signal, that would draw her to it. Okay? Because what they're going to do is they're going to take this signal out into the middle of the desert. And then once the Queen's ship gets over it, they're going to take all the shield generators from Area 51, and they're going to put it around the ship, and then they're going to detonate the ship inside. Okay? So that way they contain all of the damage, because apparently, they don't even call them nukes anymore. They call them cold fusion bombs. They're more powerful than nukes. Okay? Now, they're like, President Fichtner is like, let's, all you pilots, you guys are all that's left. So, I know I'm asking one of you to kill yourselves, but one of you is going to have to be inside of there when it blows, because you're going to be carrying all the bombs, okay? Now, this is it. I know you're going to die. I know it's asking a lot, but who wants to die? Who wants to do it, guys? Come on. Who wants to do it? And Bill Pullman's daughter is like, I'll do it. And he's like, okay. And then behind him, Bill Pullman shows up in his flight suit with his beard shaved, and he's like, no way.
Fuck yeah.
I'm doing it. Okay. And he's not crazy anymore. His crazy was in his beard, I guess. And she's like, no, you get out of here. You're not doing it. And he's like, yeah, okay, I guess I'm not doing it. Whatever. Fuck you, I'm doing it. And he gives his speech. And he's like, that's it. We got to save the world. And it's nowhere near as cool as the first movie when he did it. But, it's okay. So then his daughter looks at his Secret Service agent, and she's like, don't let him get in that space tug. And the agent is like, yeah, okay. So then later, she shows up with the agent, and she's like, okay, you said my dad wanted to talk to me? Where is he? And he goes, yeah, sorry. He made me promise as a friend. She looks out the window, and Bill Pullman is like, getting in the ship and flying away to go on the suicide mission. So then she gets in a jet fighter, and she's out there flying with him. And she's like, that's it. I'll die with you. I don't care. Whatever.
His daughter?
Yeah, she's his wingman.
Okay, so she's a pilot too?
Yep, they were all pilots together.
All right.
Everybody in the world is a pilot in this movie. So he's flying the decoy ship, the little space tug with the now the fake artifact on it, flying it out into the desert, and the Queen ship goes for it. And that's when all the shit happens with David and the bus and his dad. Well, now they get it out there, and the Queen ship has her own fighters coming out, little ships, and they're trying to blow up what they think is the sphere alien on board. So they're all just trying to blow up Bill Pullman. And he's like, I need protection. And he looks at his daughter and he's like, so, Lieutenant, can you get me to the target? And it's like a nice, good, father-daughter moment. And she's like, yes, sir. And she's blowing those fuckers up. And he gets up to the ship. And then he flies inside of it to go off and die. And he's like, I'm about to set off the bombs. Get out of here, baby. And she just like hauls ass towards the outside of the shields, because they're starting to power up the shields. That's what David is doing out there. Okay, he's powering up the shields, and she's going to be trapped in there if she doesn't get the hell out. She ends up getting out, and then they close the shields. And he's like, Mr. President, we got it. And he's like, all right, that's it. Boom. And he just like kills himself and blows up the ship. And the Queen ship fucking blows to shit inside of this dome shield. Okay, so no damage gets caused whatsoever other than the Queen ship, right? So it's all good. Then President Fichtner's on the line, and he's like, tell me, David, my David, did we do it? And he's like, we did, sir. And they're, yay! They're all celebrating, and it's all wonderful and awesome. And then the dad is talking to him, and he's like, tell me, it's got to be the end of the world for us to see each other. My David, what's going on? And he's like, yeah, I guess so, Dad, whatever. What the hell are you doing here, And then there's some movement in the wreckage. And you're like, oh, I thought this movie was ending a little too soon.
While this is happening, the drilling ship still going on.
It is still drilling. And elsewhere, even back at Area 51, all of those drones and all of her fighters, they're all still fighting. Now, the sphere alien had said that if you kill the Queen, all that shit's going to die. And that's actually why everything died in the first movie. Because when they blew up the mothership, turns out there was a Queen on board that nobody saw. So there's some movement in the wreckage, right? And Jeff Goldblum looks over and he's like, oh no, oh Jesus, oh no, she's got her own shield. And then the giant exoskeleton alien with its fucking tentacles just stands up out of the wreckage and starts coming for him, because it knows it's been tricked, and it's coming after them because they blew its ship up and shit. It's coming after him, and they're all on the bus now, and Jeff Goldblum's driving the bus, and he's just hauling ass for Area 51, and she's running like a fucking horse, running on both her hind and front legs now, which they didn't show, in the first movie, with any of the other aliens. They all, of course, technology and filmmaking, being what it is now, all the alien movement looks a lot more natural and awesome.
Right.
It's not animatronic anymore. It's all computer generated. So it's really cool, and they move really super fucking fast. And it's chasing them, and then they go back to the base, and then at that point, the warlord and the taxman, they're killing aliens, right? And the taxman is like fucking killing them, right? And then the warlord's looking at him like, yeah, kid, all right, you're doing pretty good. And there had been a scene when the taxman like, you know what, that's it. And he took his briefcase and he just threw it in the trash, and he picked up a gun. And he's like, and he looks at the guy and he's like, can I have one of your machetes? And the guy's like, no. And so now he's killing aliens along with the warlord, and they're partners. Mm-hmm. And the aliens are getting in though, and they finally break in and see the sphere. Then all of a sudden, whatever they know, the Queen knows. So now the Queen knows that the sphere is actually still back at Area 51. So she heads there. Okay. Now the Legacy Squadron in the fighters, the alien fighters that have escaped the mothership. Okay, they're back, and they find Bill Pullman's daughter, trying to fight this big queen alien, and this alien is about to just like swallow her up or just like shoot her to death or whatever, because her plane crashed and she's just out on her own in the desert, and the alien was about to kill her, and then they swoop in and start shooting her and stuff, and they're like, yeah, shoot her in the back or whatever. That's the weak spot, but they're not able to do it. But one of them is like flying at her and shooting her straight in the chest, like over and over and over and over, and it disables her shield. So now she has no personal shield, so she can be hurt. Mm-hmm. So now she's running, and then all of a sudden she calls all of her drone jet fighters to come around her. And so they're all just flying around her in a big spiral, okay? And so, like, that's her new shield, since she doesn't have the, personal shield anymore. And since they are in alien drone fighters, they lose control of them, and their planes just... their alien ships just join in with all the others. So they're just part of her shield now. And they're like, what the hell are we going to do, man? We can't even get out of here. We could kill her. She's right fucking there, but we can't stop flying in a fucking circle. And the guy's like, well, doesn't this thing have super fusion jets like I saved the moon with, in the first part of the movie? And like, well, yeah, but that's for space. We'll burn up. And he's like, yeah, that's what you said the first time, asshole. We're doing it. And so they just like turn them on, and they start flying faster than the speed of light or fucking whatever. And they're like on fire, they're burning, but they're like still flying in the spiral around the queen. And then they're able to pull up, and then they just fly straight up. Then they lose power, but they don't lose guns. Okay, they lose their engines. So now they have to do a controlled descent where they're just like falling towards the queen and shooting her. So they're doing that, and the queen busts through the top of the Area 51 and grabs the ball. Okay, so then she just starts runs away. And the other planes, I guess they were shooting them or whatever. They don't really follow her. It's not really clear why. Maybe some of them do, I don't know. But the other planes, now they have, the other alien ships with the Legacy Squadron inside. Now they can follow her. They had just lost power, but, they don't really explain it. Now they have power again, and they can just follow her straight on. So now they're shooting her in the back because some guy was like, shoot him in the back, that's the weak spot. So they shoot her in the back a whole bunch of times, and then she just falls, and she's about to fall on the bus, and then Jeff Goldblum has to like, fuck, put it in reverse. And he like reverses.
And he's driving this bus the whole time?
Yeah, he's driving the bus.
All right.
School bus. So he backs it up, and then the queen alien falls dead right in front of it, and the her suit opened up, and then she spilled out of it, and then she just died. And that's when all the other aliens fall down and everybody dies.
Okay.
Which does not make sense.
He's like a foot from getting to the core.
Oh yeah, they were two.
And the treasure hunters is like, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly what happened. Tell them, yeah, we only got 2 minutes left. Oh yeah, that's a whole nother thing. They were like, guys, we got 4 minutes. You have 4 minutes to kill that queen. And then like 15 minutes later, the guy's like, it's 2 minutes left. Like it's like the impossible clock.
Yeah.
So the queen dies, and they're talking, and let's see. There's the president, the new president, President Fichtner, Jeff Goldblum, and Brent Spiner, and then the Sphere alien. They come out. And he's like, yeah, well, what are we going to do? We'll never survive if we get attacked again, because apparently there's more queens. They got a whole planet worth of shit going. And Brent Spiner is like, nah, man, this guy right here, pointing to the alien sphere, he's like, this guy's got all kinds of blueprints, and we are set, guys. We are awesome. Everything's going to be fine. And as a matter of fact, he wants to take us. He wants us to lead the resistance. And Jeff Goldblum is like, what resistance? And then Brent Spiner is like, interstellar travel. He wants us to lead all the other planets and take the fight to their planet. And they're like, yeah, take the fight to them, huh? And, Jake is like, yeah, let's do it. And then it shows Brent Spiner, and he's like, we're going to kick some serious alien ass. And then that's the end of the movie, man. Well, I was sitting there watching the credits roll for a second, because Independence Day Resurgence seems like the kind of movie that would have a stinger at the end, like a scene after the credits. Turns out that's what that's called, guys. Anybody who didn't know that. It's no longer called a post-credits sequence. It's called a stinger. So I look it up online. There's no stingers, so I just leave. Now, thank God this time, Unlike when I left Warcraft, I did not leave my Coke on the roof of the truck when I pulled out of the parking lot. Okay? So I took it with me, and I made it here alive.
Right on, man.
So that's Independence Day Resurgence. Bad as it was,
I liked it.
it was okay. You know,
I like Ron's version of it.
Yeah, I like it. I like my version better too. How about that? You know, I guess it was a pretty fun recap. Wasn't that much fun to watch though, man. Really.
All right.
You know, Bill Pullman, fucking awesome. Brent Spiner, fucking awesome.
I was expecting Jeff Goldblum's dad to figure it out.
Nope. Oh, now Jeff Goldblum's dad did have a moment. He looks at that family of kids, and he goes, maybe you guys should also, maybe you guys should spend some time with me for a while, you know. And then they're crying, and they look at him, and they're like, we'd like that too. And it's like, you just kidnapped those children. You know, he's going to be their dad now, but, you know, that is kidnapping. That is what that is. Their parents are in Florida, asshole. They're going to be looking for them. So there you have it. Movies with Ron. Independence Day Resurgence.
What time are we at?
1 hour, 57 minutes.
Jesus shit.
I know. There's a whole lot of dead air there.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right. We love you. Bye.